Hello, Akhil Autism Foundation members. This is Manisha Lad. I'm Akhil's mom. You all have known Akhil Autism Foundation for many years now, and I am well versed with you all because I am the one who am overseeing everybody's portal and all their MB12 short prescriptions. So I want to welcome you all, and today we want to talk about a very unique collaboration with BeMe. And this is an app which is going to help you to collect a lot of data for the children. And I wish we had, when I was doing things with Akhil, we had such kind of technology. So we have Sarah Gloptacheski. Sarah, sorry if I'm not pronouncing her name right, but I want to welcome Sarah to talk about the BeMe. And we are bringing a special offer to Akhil Autism Foundation members, especially from India. So please, without any further ado, Sarah, take the stage.
Thank you so much, Manisha, and so happy to be connected with all of you. I'm really pleased today to introduce BeMe a little bit, share a little bit with you about my story and the team members with BeMe, and hopefully give you a good idea of how this could fit into your daily life and how it could help your family and your child. So I'm going to jump right in here. So before we get into what BeMe actually is, I'm going to talk a little bit about key challenges that parents to autistic children face, something that, of course, you're going to be very familiar with. So what we've sought to do is actually create a place that addresses each one of these issues. So just, basically organizing the care, the therapies, and the interventions that you're working on with your child. That alone can be quite a juggling act. Linked to that is effectively utilizing our limited resources, so both time and financial. Having a place to store and organize everything. I don't know about you, but I have boxes of papers and binders and things everywhere that, when I need to go looking for something, it can take me a long time. So even just having everything in the same place is a good thing, but then having it in the same place that everybody can look at it and work toward the same goals is even more important and more powerful. So that's even basic communication and sharing across the team is a very hard thing to make happen. So, having mom and dad in direct connection, even with, the babysitter, maybe a respite care worker, the occupational therapist, the medical doctor, the speech therapist, anybody that is interacting with your child should all be working toward the same thing. So getting everybody integrated. This one here, this point here in orange, is really where we've focused with BeMe and where we're looking to have a very significant impact and change the game for your child. And that's, how do we know it's helping our children that we're doing? How do we know it might be having little impact that we might be putting lots of money into? And then, at worst, what might actually be harming our children? So of course, we all want to know that. So at the core of this is, we now know that with autism spectrum conditions, they're unique to each individual. And so it's that we need to take a needs-based approach for each of our children. What we do with each child is going to be different. And we know there is evidence, there are clinical studies that have established, we know that it's a combination of factors that is coming together about our children. There are medical factors at play. There can be environmental factors at play. That's all combined with, behavioral factors. And we need to understand how that can be influenced for your child. So the parent is in a difficult position. What do we do? Where do we start? How do we track things? And as I said, this is where BeMe is coming in. So how are we going to do this? Well, we need data. And that can sound very complicated and very overwhelming. Well, how am I going to get this data? And what BeMe is doing is, we've developed a super simple way for the families to enter data. And it could even be done in minutes a day. And that data is very powerful when you have the professional care team members looking at it, and even you looking at it yourself. So, as I said, it's a needs-based approach where we're looking at medical, behavioral, and environmental factors in an app in an app that anybody that you choose to share it with can also use and look at the data together as a team. Does this still sound complicated? Well, it is complicated, but we've taken care of this complicated piece for you. So this is an overview, a visualization, let's say, of all the different things that are coming into BeMe. And you can see that everything is linked with each other. So we can compare all that data with all of the other data. And we've put it in a place that it doesn't need to look like this for you. It looks very simple. So you can use the BeMe app from your mobile. Most of our families, almost 80% of the data that gets entered in the platform is entered from a mobile. So it's out when you're, coming home from school. It's out when you're maybe even at a restaurant, whenever you need to enter information, super easy to do. We've worked with many families, so 250 families over about a 1.5 year period, very intensively. We got a lot of feedback about how families want to enter data, what's helpful for them, and then over 30 experts on what is helpful for them in order to make decisions for our children. One thing that we say is, at BeMe, we are the families we serve. The motivation for me founding BeMe was my own daughter, Flynn, who is 11 years old now. And our team is made up of parents to autistic children and autistic individuals themselves. So the autistic voice is always going to be core and central to everything that we do at BeMe. Okay, I will now run through what some of the features are of BeMe. So it's this tracking and journaling and doing it in an easy way. So we've actually put in place voice to text data entry. So you can just talk to your phone and it captures that data. So for a lot of the things that you need to enter, you just speak. You can say, rice and peas, and the app will capture that. You can also do voice journaling, and this is something that a lot of caregivers find is really helpful, even for themselves. So say how they're feeling that day, and that all gets converted to text. So if you want to go back and reflect on things and look on that, you can. Now into the tracking, we have bio diary tracking. So we're tracking things like GI health. We have activity tracking, what the child did that day. Food and nutritional supplementation logging in a super simple way. So anybody that you're working with can see, what the child has eaten, what the child has had for nutritional supplements, anything that you've changed, and they can, contribute to that strategy with you. We have caregiver well-being. So caregiver well-being, we know, is so important. There have been studies that have been done that show that the outcomes for the child are more closely tied to the caregiver's well-being, perhaps, than even any other therapy. And so we need to track for ourselves how we're doing, and we can actually look in the app at how we're doing versus how our child is doing. We also have a child tracker where the child can enter information themselves. So even if your child is non-speaking, they may be able to, point at how they're feeling, their mood, if they're in pain or they have discomfort, show on their body where they're feeling that. We've had parents be very surprised when they think their child might not use something like this, but when you talk to your child about it and you show it to them, well, they surprise and they do that, and they even end up asking to enter information. You didn't ask me how I am yet today. Tracking communication and engagement. So we want to see how that's evolving for our children. So words, sounds that they're making, new things that they do that we want to pinpoint so that we can go back and talk to the rest of the team about it. These are things that you can do in the app. Tracking episodes, so meltdowns, shutdowns, tantrums, sleep being so important for so many of us, and then symptoms and behaviors. So the symptoms and behavior list that we have for you to track against comes from clinical research and all of the experts that we've worked with. So there'll be things in there that you might not even have thought about tracking, but when you do that, it might actually be pinpointing something like a medical concern that you may not know that your child has. So this might lead to getting further diagnostics done that can help your child. You can add on limited care team members to your account. If you want to invite 50 people in that interact with your child, you are free to do so. So you can add anybody that you like, no extra cost. You can add unlimited professionals as well, no extra cost. Care team files, so having everything in the same place. So important for everybody to look at the same thing. So you can change who you're sharing what with, but you could keep video diaries for your child, your financial documents, if you like, your your plan from school, dietary protocols, medical results. Everything can be in a secured location, very compliant location, safely in one place for you to decide who you want to share things with. You can collaborate on goals together in the platform. I'll keep going. Making decisions as a team, stressing, so important. That can be transformational for our lives when everybody's going in the same direction and everybody's looking at the same goals and measuring together. Insight reports, where we're able to look at one thing versus another. And I'll give you an example of that. In-depth nutritional analysis. So here's something that we've made so easy. You literally just say what the child ate. Like I said, rice and peas. And then what we're able to do is in real time, we can tell you what nutritionally is in rice and peas. So you'll know proteins, you'll know sugars, you'll know fats, you'll know the water content even of foods, so that you can track against what's recommended for your child and try to, improve things for them and then see the overall impact of that. These clinically informed insights, which I'll give you an example of in a minute. You can set appointments with our family success team. Our family success team are all parents to autistic children, and we have autistic individuals that you can talk to. You can, if you're having a problem with the app, you can chat with them. If there's something else that you want to see in the app, let us know. We're building what you want. So we want to keep in touch with you on a regular basis. We have a knowledge center based on the modules in our platform. You can connect with providers and community, like Akhil Autism Foundation. You can join events. And of course, we have live chat and help desk for any time that you're having trouble. Okay, now here's an example of if you're in the app, like what does this mean for my day? What might I see here? So I'm giving the example of logging in what we call 2 different modules. In this case, it's episodes. So that's meltdowns, these are the periods of overwhelm, shutdowns, and tantrums. And then the other thing that we're going to look at here is food. So what the child is eating. You can very easily enter this data. So food, things pop up in the app if you've already entered them before, so you just click on it again. Many of our children eat the same things often. They're in patterns. So that's all easy to log. But here we have, they're logging that they ate a lollipop and a small chocolate bar. And then you have this reporting that shows you, okay, how much sugar was actually in those foods that my child ate. Here we're looking at a span of a few days, and you can see the green line there. That's the recommended daily amount of sugar that the child could have. And I think this child is over every single day. So you might want to look at making that change. So that's an insight on its own, just based on sugar. But then here now, we're going to talk about how things fit together. So here are episodes. So you're going to log episodes as they happen, and we ask a few simple questions about them. And then you can see how that's trending over time, by type of episode and the frequency. Now, here's where things get powerful. We can look at these things together. So here's sugar intake versus frequency of episodes. And you can see here, this is from a real account where when the sugar goes up, in this case with this child, the episodes went up. So when you see something like that, well, you're going to probably want to take the sugar down and see what happens. You can also go into the platform and you can look at the type of sugar that the child is consuming. So you can see, sugars from, say, fruits can be have a very different impact, may not be contributing to the episodes, but sugar versus treats might be. So these are things that you can change on your own as you see these things come up. But then you can also share that with, if you're working with a nutritionist or a naturopathic doctor or your physician, and they can help you, guide you through making these changes, and then you see what happens.
And any questions, you can book a demo with them, and feel free to connect with us and put your comments in the community portal. So I will be waiting for your comments. So thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward for taking this to the next level.
Likewise, thank you so much, and excited to support your community.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.